stand, we're going to have pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order, beginning the pledge of allegiance. Need approval of the agenda as presented.
I'd like to ask a question, if unfinished business, number 6 is the dam, although it doesn't specify specifically what the topics on the dam would be allowed. Since we have a couple of quotes having to do with the dam, does that qualify as conversation?
I think when it comes at the number 6, the dam is there. Jack, if we got information on it, somebody.
Just here to share it, that's all.
Yeah.
Members that have come before council to get presentations or quotes regarding anything to do with the dam.
It's basically it's not a firm proposal or anything else. All it is a concept and some estimated cost on one of the costs. It's not a firm quote or anything. It's 4 pages of sketches.
I see those, I know it's not on the agenda, but if that's something that we can look at.
Well, just to know it's here and let the residents know that there's 2 of these came in that we're evaluating. Okay, besides that, I have no issue with the agenda.
Okay. Anything else on the agenda? If not, we need approval of the minutes. Pardon me? I have a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda so that
Support. Okay, motion's been made and supported to approve the agenda.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Maureen. Cerulli.
Yes.
Forgot he wasn't here. Harden.
Yes, Peter's
We
not
should
here.
wait until he votes.
Okay, the minutes of the June 9th meeting. Take a look at them, we haven't read it. There's no questions. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the June 9th meeting. As presented.
clarification.
Speak up.
Yes. Number 3 in the new business, resolution 2014-11, says no action taken. I thought I made a proposal to not adapt that resolution. It was a proposal made and voted on, I thought.
For the next set of minutes.
To the next set of minutes. For the 30th.
Okay, we're looking at the June 9th meeting, so it'll be on the next schedule.
Okay, and that vote.
Do you have questions on the June 9th meeting? Not the, a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make a motion that we accept them as presented.
The motion's made and seconded to approve the June 9th minutes as presented.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Cerulli.
Yes.
Harden.
Yes.
Yeah. 3.
Next is the special council meeting we had on June 30th, 2014.
Motion to approve?
I support.
Motion made and supported to approve the June 30th, 2014 minutes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Magley.
Yes.
Sirlik.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. Next will be the treasurer's report, which is the purple page. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as effective July 14th, 2014.
Support.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Magley.
Yes.
Sirlik.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. And next is the green sheet, which is a copy of the check register for June 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2014. Any questions? Most of the expenses we have are just generally the same as they were the month before. Occasionally, a couple others built into the system, only because of things that we had to buy, which is usually kind of on the minor side. I'll make a motion that we approve the bills and transfers from June 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2014.
Second.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Magley.
Yes.
Sirlik.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. Next is public comments. Mr. Roush is here, Mr. Bill Roush is here. And he's on a hot schedule, so he has to be first in line, and you're it, Bill. Your name and your address.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Bill Roush. My wife and I own the buildings where Cranberry Cafe is located, as well as the old fire hall and the Eagle. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, an attorney, and I believe his name was Dean Yotis, contacted me and asked if I was having any flooding problems. I said no, I did have several years ago in our parking lot because they cut off our drain when they built the new fire hall, but the township took care of that. So he went on to say he represented a group of people that were having flooding issues and that he was investigating the issue and that the group had talked about eliminating the dam and the mill pond. To which I replied, are these people crazy or are they just stupid? He said, why do you say that? I told him I spent 29 years on Independence Fire Department and the mill pond is your fire protection. Not only for the village, but for the township. If our buildings, Jan and mine, the church, John's, the plaza, any of those catch on fire, there is no way you can tank enough water to make an effective save on these structures. There are 2 pumps at the fire hall, the new one, that are capable of pumping 1,000 gallons per minute each. Without the mill pond, they're useless. We own the old fire hall, which has a 5-inch well, where you used to get your water. We have a 5 horsepower pump that's capable of pumping 100 gallons per minute, which means we can fill a 3,000 gallon tanker in 30 minutes. You can fill that same tanker at the new fire hall in 3 to 5 minutes, as long as the mill pond is still there. The issue of the mill pond should not be based on flooding issues, the cost of the dam repair, but on the protection it provides the health and well-being and safety of this community. If you take away the mill pond, your insurance rating will get worse and everyone will pay more for home and business insurance, and that'll be forever. The dam repairs are not forever. And for the firemen, there is nothing worse than being in a burning structure and run out of water. So for those of you who want to eliminate the mill pond, think long and hard of the problems you will create for this community and the potential safety issues you will create for the people and the firemen that risk their well-being for your well-being. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Cindy Beebe, I've got a question. I was gonna call you guys. I'm really excited about Erie Street and I'm glad that we're progressing and going along, but I'm shocked today. They did the curb and I looked out in the front yard and where they took out the foot of the driveway, the new curb that they put in, the cement, because we didn't have one prior. I mean, I'm a woman, I'm not an engineer, I don't know what they're doing, but something's not right. It is so high, so for them to redo, they're not gonna be able to just do the front portion of my driveway. They're gonna have to dig out, build up, and pave back in, not unless there's something there I'm not seeing. I mean, cause I thought, do they cut that out, and they said, no, they don't. So I don't know if we get a hold of Wade Trim or what we do, but if that's the problem, and that curve is gonna be an elevation to us, we had 3 houses that flooded over the weekend between Seneca and Erie. So it is a big problem in our community. And if that is elevated higher, then where's that elevation gonna go, except for all the water's gonna drain back into our front yards, and that's exactly what we're trying to eliminate. So, and another thing I know that we've mentioned, and we're talking about the dam, I do think that we need to be open-minded, and I've shared that with a couple of you. I said on the balancing act with that, I do think we have to look at finances. We have an unbelievable amount of infrastructure here, and it's something that I think a lot of people would like to keep, but it's called liability, it's called cost. How do we afford it? Those are the things that we need to have answers on. How is it shared? You know, who gets the liability for that as far as taxation?
Okay, we'll take a look at that driveway situation and see what the, see if in fact they're gonna, do something with that curve, or maybe they're going to do something with it, I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, you know, sure.
I
I
appreciate
talked to
it.
Wade Trim about that. It's a drivable curb, and when they put the, your lawns back in, it will take care of that situation.
It really will. Okay.
Anyone else?
Excuse me, pardon me. My name is Charles Cox. I've been a resident of Goodrich about 3 years. I live in 10189 Hawthorne condominium area, condo area. Several weeks ago, I think all of you realized we had a leak of oil over at the facility right next door to where my business is, right next door up the hill. My real concern is, I don't know if the village was contacted in terms of environmental problems with that oil. 2 things come to major concern for myself and a number of my friends that live in the condo. We're concerned about the water table. What's happened to that oil in the aquifer? If there is a problem, I don't know if the village is concerned with that. More importantly, my business, which uses well water, also has, in the last few weeks since that time, a disagreeable taste and odor. And I realize it's something I'm going to probably have to resolve. But I'm concerned what the village may or may not have done in terms of providing information to people like myself on what's going on with the water. If there is some information, I'd appreciate it. My last comment is nobody from those agencies that drive by every day have come to talk to me, and I've tried to communicate with them. So just a point of concern and interest. I thank you for your time.
Lay out for everybody before I start.
Norm Bass. I live in Hawthorne Ridge condos. I'm here to discuss we had a problem about 2 months ago. We had someone in our condominium area that drove out of Hawthorne Ridge, on Hawthorne Ridge Road, and he hit some real rough pavements. He fell off, he was on a bike, fell off the bike and broke his arm. And he's come to me and asked me, you know, what are we gonna do about some of the potholes in the roads and whatever. And I told him that I would be, you know, getting back to the village and discussing this matter, and here I am tonight. Basically, on the far end, I found a catch basin that needs some attention too. I guess it had caved in. And on this drawing, I've got priorities there of where we can really resolve, and it depends on how much we can spend on these minor road repairs. But the first one is that in that red letter number 1, there's about 400 feet that the asphalt needs to be taken out and a new pad put in there, smoothing it out. The rest of the sub looks pretty good. But if we can fix, and that'll take care of that pothole where that accident happened, you know, that would be helpful. The second thing is there's 2 other locations there that I got on there, number 2 and number 3. And if there is enough money, I know the state gave some money to us for fixing some of these potholes and roads and whatever. It would be nice if we could do all 3. But at a minimum, if we can set up and do number 1 this year, maybe 2 next year, whatever, depending on the money situation, I would, and our group would fully appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir.
Henry Wartella, and I live on Schuman Drive, been there 19 years. In the 19 years I've been there, the road was put in new 19 years ago, and it's been crack sealed 1 time, approximately 9 years ago. I know we got equipment around here to seal the cracks, but just wondering if we ever use it. My roads is critical as Norm Bass's. I know they've been in his area to seal his cracks. I'd just like to know if it's a possibility to get Schuman Drive done.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, we'll go to new business, unfinished business, is the Genesee County Sheriff's Department report. Everybody had a copy of that? You don't need motion, you guys have seen it. Street administrator, or, Jack, you want to comment on the street administrator 9/11?
The Erie Street project is going well. It's about a week ahead of schedule. In fact, they didn't work last Friday because they were ready for curbs and they couldn't get them scheduled until Monday. It should be done well over a week ahead of time and in plenty of time for Goodrich to get set up.
Okay.
Everything has been going along fine. Had an issue with drainage, a drainage structure by the school. I'm gonna talk to the school and see if we can get some assistance in paying for that. They put drains coming off of their building where they want to, and I will talk to them and see if we can get some assistance with that.
Okay.
It is built into the project. We were notified by Genesee County on the spillway that we need to put in on Dutch Road at the end of the or at the end of the barricade there. I talked to DPW today, and we're gonna look at getting that done. They've been waiting for it to dry out. Trying to get our piece of equipment in there, it just is not working. So we're gonna look at alternatives to see about getting it done this week.
Okay.
If at all possible, although it's supposed to rain again tonight. Water and waste, I haven't been to a meeting, so I don't know anything more than you do.
Does
9/11, I've been to
Does
a
the
meeting.
pond qualify as water
What?
in that category? Does the pond qualify as water? Water and waste.
Well, I think it's a different, I think it's a
I know
different,
what you're talking about.
yeah, I think that's a little different issue.
I'm sorry?
I think that's a little different issue, because water is water, but that's not what the waterways is about, I don't think.
Yes. Parks and Rec, there's a letter in your packet from the Goodrich volunteers, different things that they would like to do to assist the village in cleaning the pavilion, the picnic tables. I'm hoping you read the letter. There is money in the Parks Maintenance Department, so if they needed a little bit of extra money to do some of these projects that they're interested in doing, a couple $100, there's money available. So what they're looking for is your blessing for them to power wash the pavilion, do all the picnic tables with the dark stain, and give them some assistance with money that's already budgeted for that particular project, or not that project, but for maintenance. And they want to get going on the project so that it'll be done in time for Good Times in Goodrich.
You want a motion for that? Which is,
Yeah, a motion to,
okay.
allow them to do it, and then we will subsidize up to $200 if that's what you wanna put on it.
Okay. Well, I make a motion that the Goodrich Village volunteers proceed with working on the park, power washing, the concrete's been there a long time, power washing will probably make it look new compared to what it looks like now. The work on the tables, I commend you for that. If you're running out a couple $100 because of the stain, that's what you're out doing. As Jackie mentioned, we got money in our budget for the park and some of its maintenance, so that should not be an issue. See something about to purchase and install a 6-foot memorial bench to be permanently placed. That's something you're financing. I'm not sure what a memorial bench is supposed to be or where you're gonna put it, but,
I think that's something we still need to work out with them.
okay. Other than that, I make a motion that we work with the volunteers to work in the park and to make it look nice when the Good Time in Goodrich starts, I believe, is in September sometime.
No, August 23rd.
August 23rd, okay. So I need a motion.
Dollar amount, we gotta put a ceiling on this.
I was gonna say, I need a couple $100.
$200?
200?
200, a couple hundred?
Is that your
200?
motion is 200?
You don't like my slang, eh? You know, a couple hundred.
Couple bucks.
You know, a couple bucks would be good.
Insurance, man.
We gotta go to Vegas more often, you know, a couple hundred, okay.
Scott, that's 200.
I put down 200 if that's, unless anybody has something else.
That's fine. I think there's a second, Mark?
I will.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Mackey?
Yes.
Cirelli?
Yes. Yes.
I'm still going to call his name.
And with us this evening, we have Jason Flemming, who has some ideas about the Goodrich Commons sign. I understand that Jason used to go to school in Goodrich.
That's right, a couple of years ago, 1986.
Oh, that's just a couple years ago.
Yeah, you know, it happens, right?
So tell us what you have.
Sure. I've been working, my name is Jason Flemming. I was a resident of Goodrich through 1986. Moved out to Los Angeles and came in to spend some time with my family this week, due in part to a lot of work I've been doing with a friend of the council's, Angie Adamak. She and I have been email friends over the past year. I've been meeting with her. Back in 1976, just a few more years ago, I was in 2nd grade, and myself and a 12th grader, Bob Robinson, we both were part of a contest back during the bicentennial. And I named the park, and he did the logo for the park. Back in that day, there was a temporary sign that was put up by the Lions Club. That sign has long come down. And over the past 25 years, when I come back to the community, I know what the park means, and I know the history of the park, but I think it's really important in this day and age when there's so much positive work that you guys, or challenging work I should say, that you guys are working on, that there's actually some positive progress that comes back to the community. And so I've worked with Angie, and I've told her that in terms of funding, this is not something that I'm turning to the council for, this is private funding. But I think it's something that is critical and crucial to really putting a date stamp on a really, special space for this community. It's still in its conception stage, so that's why I wanted to try to show you a little bit of what Angie and I have been working with. With your permission, I'd like to keep this with the council to use as you will here in the community. We came up with a logo of sorts that could certainly be changed, but with help with the Lions Club, it would say something like Goodrich Commons with a logo that is pulled together, some mosaics or some glass to resemble Bob Robinson's contribution to the graphic. Originally the site of the old Goodrich Mill, it was the Goodrich Manufacturing Company who in 1975 donated the site to the community. On September 7th, 1975, the Goodrich Lions Club held a groundbreaking ceremony to which they founded the site Goodrich Community Park Project. Park dedication, July 4th, 1976. Goodrich Bicentennial Celebration. Park name, second grade student Jason Flemming. A common is a piece of land shared by the community. Park logo by 12th grade student Bob Robinson. Quote, the red, white, and blue symbolize our flag and its 200 years. The green symbolizes the hills and valleys of our community. Special thanks to the Goodrich Lions Club, who were really instrumental at that time, and still are. I'm putting this before you as a point of conversation. Any questions you might have. I'm also here, Angie encouraged me to let you know that I'm here throughout the rest of the week. She said it might even be beneficial to set some potential opportunities to meet in the park, discuss further any ideas. It's just something that I have been passionate about over the years, and I think it's something that if we can put it to a vote or fruition, maybe this conceptual process can actually move forward. Thank you. Any questions?
Now, the drawing that you
Yeah.
presented, that's something that you want to put up where the initial entrance is off Eagle Road?
Actually,
Or down below?
the original entrance was up near the turnaround. And I know one concern, and rightfully so, is any potential work that has to be done on the dam. The original sign was far away from that location. It was up above the, to the left, by just in front of the tennis courts. It was in this area, off to the left. And so that, in terms of longevity, wouldn't be a concern to any dam work. I know it's real important, first and foremost, safety for this, so there's been some proposed pylons and a strong foundation that would satisfy any of those concerns. Certainly very consensual, so any feedback is welcome. Our committee is of 2 people, so anyone that wants to certainly provide any feedback on this is welcome during the process. Yeah.
What's the material that the sign itself?
Yeah. Angie, and again, this is conceptual too, Angie had come up with a granite, and a granite that is indigenous to this area with the field rocks and the field stone that would be part of the base or the foundation. The only other contrast to the field stone and the field rocks would be this as a bench or a seating area off to the left or right of it, and then the sign, same material, maybe polished, maybe not polished, maybe honed. We want to make certain and strong, but it doesn't look anything, it looks more like a marker, and, you know, nothing that may be confused or trivialized or anything that looks like a gravestone. We don't want any of that. We want something that just looks like something that tells the history of the space.
Can you read to us what's on the stone?
Yeah, that's what I had read. We had just put together, again, real quick, originally the sign of the old Goodrich mill. It was the Goodrich Manufacturing Company who in 1975 donated the site to the community. On September 7th, 1975, Goodrich Lions Club held a groundbreaking ceremony to which they founded the Goodrich Community Park Project. Park dedication, July 4th, 1976. Goodrich Bicentennial Celebration. That event is now your field days, and it has continued every year since 1976. Park name, a common is a piece of land shared by the community. Goodrich Commons, park logo, red, white, and blue symbolize the flag. It's 200 years. Green symbolizes the hills and valleys of the community. And those were the specific quotes that were selected by, at that time, the volunteer community, or the volunteer committee in conjunction with the Lions Club. There was a collaboration of 10, 12 people that were part of that voting process.
Are you planning on putting something, this was
Yeah.
originally when we talked
Yes.
years ago?
Yes.
A memorial to your brother. Is there
Yeah,
something on
yeah. My brother recently, this past year, passed away, and so I was going on the back of it, put like a memorial plaque, if you will. His foundation is gonna be part of the private fund, but again, no expense to the community whatsoever. Just something that is a give back, if you will, to a community that's been really good to my family, to my brother and I. We used to use the park, play tennis. And again, with everything that you're going through that is challenging, that I'm hearing, this is one thing that could be a positive. And a nice echo back from this council to the community.
It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Jason, are you gonna be, since you live in California?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be available when the time comes to put this sign in motion?
Yes.
If you can be involved as, per se, a contractor, or?
Yeah.
So it's built like you would like it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It passes the board, per se?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm available to come back here as often as needed. Angie also has been really instrumental and helpful in putting me in touch with stonemasons, people here locally that we're interviewing for some quotes. I've also nominated, if you will, I've also got my stepfather here who has a lot of time on his hands, Gary Rader, who also has a lot of friends and family members, along with my mother, Deborah Rader, who lives here. So the two of them and myself, yeah, very hands-on.
Okay,
Very hands-on.
so when you're back in California?
Yes.
Would it be an assumption that we want to get a hold of Angie?
Angie, yeah.
And, you know, 'cause she was on this board for a while.
She was, and
And maybe
she's,
get her really involved in a time
Yeah.
schedule.
yeah. She wished she could be here tonight. She's with her grandchildren this week, and she told me, she said, if you can just get the balls in motion with the council, she said, I mean, she's dynamite. She's really steadfast and excited about this project, so.
Well, I think personally, I think it's a great project.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make the park look that much better.
That's right.
It's gonna be very visible to the people that live in the village and the township.
That's right, yeah.
And there's other people who use that park besides people in Goodrich.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're gonna see that sign.
When you walk into the space, you say to yourself now, at least I do, where did this space come from? How did the village get it? Why was it this piece of land? And if you walk in and you actually see that it was donated, and it was donated to the Lions Club, and the Lions Club then donated it over to the village, it's got a pretty special story. And back in the days of 1976, you know, it was a rocking space. You know, we were all dressed in our, Paul Revere, garb, and and then every year after that, certainly I had moved away, but you have your your fun days in the summer, so.
Good time at Goodrich, yeah.
A good time at Goodrich, yes, exactly, exactly.
Can you go to the park and stake it out where you're
Absolutely.
visualizing
Yeah,
this to be,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that
I sure
we're
can.
not holding something up with
Absolutely.
an anticipation of what we might be doing with the
Yeah.
dam or?
I'll definitely do that. I can maybe put some stakes and some flags and I am around all week, so I can run up to the park and meet any council member that might have some more questions. Again, very conceptual, so I welcome your feedback. I don't want it to certainly, be a hindrance with any of your day-to-day, week-to-week business in terms of, being in the wrong location, what if we have to move it, what have you. The original entrance was always off the turnaround, so to me, years later, there was a second entrance down near the buses. And I know that now has been more of the egress into the park. But, I don't know, driving through the village, to have a name recognition as you go in that turnaround area, it just seems to kind of connect a little bit more to the village.
Well, for sure, leave that,
Yeah, this is yours.
leave
This
that
is
to
yours.
Jackie. with
Yeah,
the-
definitely
The
will.
information.
Okay.
Jason, thank you, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
I'll meet you up there this week.
Okay, good, let's do it, let's do it. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you,
Thank you very much. Good idea.
thank you.
You do code enforcement. Jack Administrator,
Administrator, I would like to, I don't know if we need to set it tonight or until I find out when I'm coming back, a meeting to talk about the retirement plan of the village. You're all aware of what Mr. Campbell's going through, and he's asked if the council could take a look at our plan to see at this particular point in time if there's no borrowing against anything. And I'd like you to take a look at it to see if that's something that you would want to do for hardships or just to take a look at it to see what we might be able to do. I go to the doctor on Friday, so I can get back.
okay. The dam is on the agenda. Do you want something to say about the dam? The dam? Yeah. I know Rich brought some material.
Well, just that, the normal procedure is that anything that council acts upon is brought to the village council, and you're in, you either pass a motion, you're in consensus. This is something that I know nothing about as the administrator, other than hearsay rumors. This was never brought before council.
It came in today.
But somehow it had to come in.
It came in.
Somebody went out and talked to
Okay,
people.
Why, but the importance of this, why are we getting the resistance, and what gives you the authority to say no, that this cannot even be discussed with the residents here?
Because that's what you hired me to do.
Well, I don't believe it says dam. You've got your attorney here, let's ask him.
I think the question is whether to have it on the agenda, and that's really up to the board, whether you want.
Okay, what does it say, dam? You wanna expound on that? What does that mean?
I think there's been a decision made to have a discussion.
Fine.
Okay. That's all we gotta do.
Very briefly, 3 companies were asked to come in, view what our situation was with the current dam. 2 of the companies have responded, which they said they would by this meeting. One has a proposal with some sketches that basically what their ideas are, including fishing platform and some others, and have a very more economical cost than what we were given before by wave trim. The second company has been talking to Luke Trumbull of the DEQ and had asked him basically any of the things that have to be done to address this situation, would part of it be, would it be necessary to take the dam down? And his response was no. If you can do something to secure this dam to the satisfaction of the DEQ, then go ahead and try to pursue that. And this company said they will have a proposal in the August meeting to address that.
I think that'd be a good idea, Rich. I mean, you just got his last couple of days, I'm sure. Okay, we just got it tonight for the first time. It might be a good idea to take, for us, at least read it and get some ideas of what,
We're not taking any action on it. All it is a piece
no,
of
it's fine.
information.
I think we should put it on the next meeting.
Fine. And by the next meeting, we should have the one from the third, the third construction of, engineering company.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I would make a motion that we take an opportunity as a council on an individual basis to at least look this thing over, get some ideas of what this particular company had in mind. Hopefully, we can get some information before the meeting in August, so that the office can also take a look at it and put it on our agenda for next month, and then we can discuss it with some kind of knowledge of what's going on, and both companies have given us, obviously, look at some ideas here, and then talk about it, have it on the agenda, discuss some ideas, and take it from there.
If the council agrees, I'm sure they'd be willing to come in front of us at that time and make a proposal, a more detailed proposal than just sketches and what have you. By that time, they should have more information dealing with the DEQ and so forth.
Okay.
All right?
I'm gonna make a motion, we're not going to stop looking at it, but give us an opportunity to look at it. Give the board and the office a chance to look at what the next proposal may be. And then we can at least start looking at it at the next month meeting and take it from there. So I just, you don't need a motion, I'm just suggesting that we take a look at it, have it on the agenda for next month with the other proposal, and take a look at it and see where we are. We gotta start someplace, so here's an ideal place to start.
Support.
Okay,
You have a motion?
that's motion with support.
You just said it wasn't going to be a motion, so if you would like to tell me just exactly what the motion is.
Well, I know that you need to make a motion, but I'll make a motion.
I don't know if you're not, but if you are, I need to know
I'll
what
go
it
ahead and
is.
do that. And I've
To review and place on the agenda for next month, the 3 proposals?
We'll have 2 proposals. One is that we got tonight, which is just an idea.
But for next month's meeting, or
We hope to have 3.
We hope to have 3 proposals.
Leave the number
Okay.
off, just say proposal.
the proposals.
Yeah, so we can just look at them, get some ideas what the proposals are all about. And then kind of go from there, you know, you're not gonna make any big decisions, but we gotta at least get an idea what these proposals look like and whether it's something.
Proposals concerning the dam, I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
the other, so you need to, I have to review and place on the agenda for next month, the proposals.
Yeah, here's one here if you wanna need today.
Expound on that at all, or?
I just think we need to give us a chance to look at them, and we'll look at them at the next meeting. That's what you're asking?
To address potential solutions for the dam condition.
I think past concern is what do we call it?
Exactly. Well, the
Proposals
The
concerning
proposals.
dam information.
Dam repair or replacement.
Good. Even.
to address dam repair or
Indoor replacement.
replacement. Okay, that was
Rick.
your,
Yeah. We need a second or approval.
Sterling.
Well, either one is seconded.
Okay, motion's been made, and seconded, roll call vote please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAdie.
Yes.
Sterling.
Yes?
Horton.
Yes. Next on the agenda is sidewalks. Anything here, Jackie, that we need? Okay. Village property,
I turn that over to you, so I don't have anything.
okay.
Mike have anything?
Anything from village property?
You talk about Mike the attorney, right?
Hmm?
Are you talking to me or?
I told Rick,
Well,
I gave it to Rick before I left.
Yeah,
and he
I
was
called
gonna
him,
Handle it.
more than 4 times without getting a reply back, and he was a little concerned about the information that we had, that he had. give that information to the judge without, he needed more information, or he just wanted to get in front of the judge with what he had. And I called 4 or 5 times and left messages, and I think he was just kind of up in the air if he really wanted to do anything, personal opinion, because he never called me back. But in one conversation I had, he was a little concerned with bringing this whole thing in front of the judge as to what was gonna happen, good, bad, or good. I had no idea what he was thinking about that.
When I get back.
That's
there,
kind of
I'll
set
call
that
him.
aside again, forget.
I only got 2 to worry about. Oh, that was the state road private village property. Tom can maybe talk about that. I'm sorry, I stepped ahead of you.
Purchase agreements are signed and in the hands of the title company. We're in line for a closing, and they're very busy, so, which is, I suppose, good news for the economy, but they're not closing within 8 to 10 days like they were 2 years ago. So I expect we'll close before the end of the month.
Okay. State road property,
I jumped ahead of that, I'm sorry. That was the Mike. Mike Gilman. I jumped
Yeah.
ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah. Yeah, that's what he was concerned about. And I did notice that someone's actually mowed the lawn up there this last week. And the things that need to be done, I told him that I had looked at it, and there were windows in the building, as I think there has been for a while. The one door looked like it was secured, and they were putting some kind of a tarp on the roof again, so that was an issue. But I think he was really, didn't know really what to do with that information and present to a judge to the point where whatever we were gonna do or like him to do, I don't think he felt real comfortable with that.
Didn't
So,
we
but
get a
that doesn't
judgment
mean-
on that?
Huh?
Wasn't there a judgment on that?
He was to have it done by May 30th.
What's he afraid of?
May
I
31st.
didn't talk to him, I don't know. I'll call him when I get there.
Yeah.
I agree, I thought we had to May 30th.
Well, I don't know if
He
it
was
was or not.
supposed to go to court
It's supposed to
2
go
or
to
3
court.
weeks into June.
Yeah, but I don't know if it ever did or not, the way he talked.
And he's purchased Robinson on just property management. You know, I'm supposed to.
Yeah, when next
Has he
door.
done the work down there?
That's
Is he the one that's cleared the property down there?
Yeah, no, you're talking about it. I stopped by, there's some guys out there in the bank working. You're talking about the same,
I think so.
and they told me their instructions were to take everything down, every bush, every tree, all the way down to because they thought, can't guarantee it, but they thought that they talked like they were under the gun to get it done by the state.
Yes.
And I did not correct that, I just let them,
I had talked to someone from the EPA, and she was gonna lean on it a little bit.
well, somebody did. Because they think the state's making them do it, that's fine.
She was concerned about anything coming down and getting down in.
But I tell you what, they got that right down. They cleaned it right down, now they just need to work in the house.
Well, might be a call to Mike and see if it goes from a judge or not, I don't know if it did or not, I never heard about that.
I'll
one way
put
or
it
the
on
other.
this when I get back.
Okay. The Wheelock, Watkins Spring, is that where we at in that? Is there anything that we need to talk about, or? Okay. We have- Okay.
Talk on this.
I don't know what to do. What we can talk about. It's another one of those, I don't know anything about that.
Say, Jim, like, there's something like this, maybe I'd have that on the agenda also, but we got time to do all that. Just go ahead and bring it up.
I've been in contact with some of Kim Hewitt's team, a couple of the engineers that she has 2 engineers that are working on it. One of them is supposed to have a proposal by the end of this week. This is just an email that I have from him confirming that. stated he will have one for him. The other engineer, I assume,
If I remember correctly, though, we had thought, or we at least had discussed, if we had to go elsewhere, we would get what we need here. We look at the engineering companies that work with Ingham County.
I really don't know how to handle this. I assume that when he sends this to me, I assume that I would give this to council, we'll discuss it, and then questions, and shoot the questions back to him. Then I assume at that point we would forward it to Mr. Wright. It's really, there's nothing to do with us at that point.
Would you expect any more information from this firm, other than what we've got?
From this guy here, Joe, he says in this, that he will have something for me by the end of the week.
Okay, probably the thing to do then is put this on the agenda for next month. So that gives us the time to look at it. If you get more information,
As soon as I get a copy of it, I'll
yeah,
bring
get
it
to the
in
office and
the
we'll
office and make sure everybody gets a copy.
put it in our box so we get a chance to look at it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, besides that, if this proposed meeting happens the 28th, it would be nice to have something that we could give to
Nothing's
Mr.
scheduled.
Wright. I'm sorry?
Nothing's scheduled.
Not gonna happen? Okay.
I haven't done anything with it. Mark and I were gonna talk to my report. And we need to figure out when Mr. McKinney might be available, if that's how you wanna go ahead with it. The last meeting was kind of for the day up in the air. Figured I'd wait till I got back.
Okay. Well, let's put this Gateway Engineering Survey Incorporated on the agenda for next month. I'll make that as a motion.
Support?
Does that support that?
Yeah.
Yeah, motion to support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin,
Yes.
McNamee.
Yes.
Siroli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. There is no new business except our attorney, Tom McKinney, is here. And Tom, you were invited to the meeting.
Yes, I was.
Is there any comments that you'd like to make? Okay. Any other public comment? We're gonna keep it down to a short 3 minutes. After that, yes.
Teresa Elaine, how's everybody today? I have a couple of questions. 12 days ago, I sent an email to Jackie, as well as 2 other councilmen, and it ended up being probably half the state in Watkins Township to get an answer of some kind. But I had asked, since Pete was out of town, who the emergency contact was. If we had flooding issues, the mill pond was up high, if, any questions we had regarding the gates and the caps on the culvert. I sent 4 requests for information on who to contact, who our emergency contact would be. And I have on video from last month's meeting, Jackie said that she was working from home. I sent it to her personal email and her work email.
Very good.
I've got it all right here. And I sent it,
Personal email.
yes, I do, it's administrator@hotmail.com. And that is a fact because the email correspondence that Mark has sent around, with the green infrastructure, and there's an email from you to Susan Kubik from administrator@hotmail.com.
That's not valid anymore. Not
Okay,
been valid since I got fired.
okay, well, my question is, who do we contact? Because as Ms. Beebe said, there was flooding on the other side of the village, and they called up here, and nobody in the office knew what to do, who to call, didn't call anybody. What are we supposed to do? I feel that this information should be on your website. We should be entitled. I mean, it's not like a fire where we would call 911 and say, are the caps on the culvert? Who do we call?
Well, first thing I think you probably do is call the village office and let.
But they didn't know anything.
well,
They
you
didn't
gotta-
know who to call. And then they proceeded not to call any member here. Did they call you?
I'm not on the DPW, that's who they need to talk to.
You're the president. They're gone, they're on vacation.
Those are the people that know how to.
Well,
deal
that's
with
funny
it.
because in this email, I called Ethan Campbell twice because I got his number from the DEQ. And he had the pre-recording thing on there saying, the person that you have dialed is not available. Please try your call again later. We need some guidance, and if you can't give me an answer today, I understand that. But you owe it to the community to have numbers available for us to call if there is an emergency. And I don't think that's an outrageous request.
Get hold of the office, we'll try to do something that gets phone numbers out there.
told you.
Exactly, thank you. I just told you that Pat, I believe, took one of the calls, and the person even came up here, and she didn't know what she was talking about. So maybe you guys need to discuss and have some kind of protocol, forms available, numbers for people to contact. And that is not an outrageous request.
Okay, for the third time, get hold of the office, get some phone numbers,
Oh,
and go from there. That's all I can ask you. We do not have a blimp around with a phone number on it for you, I'm sorry.
I don't think that that's, how come every other township and village and city has the information on
The
their
start
site?
is, get hold of the main office.
All right, I got that. And one other quick question, they got the drain out in front of my neighbor's house dug up. Does anybody know what's going on there?
Fixing the catch basin.
Before there's a decision, I mean, was it broken? Nobody knows? You guys got it ripped up, but nobody knows?
If you ask in a civil way, maybe somebody would answer you.
I think I am. I think you're the one that's sassy today. I think I'm being polite.
Culvert, or the catch basin, and they're going to be fixed
Okay,
because it was sunk.
okay, thank
Something
you.
that you've noticed for a number of years, or a number of months, whatever.
I don't recall ever discussing that here, but thank you.
No one else? Make a motion.
None, other comments?
Oh, yeah, you got more.
Yeah, we can come to
Hang on.
council comment.
Katie Vick, Green Road. A couple of questions I have. One was there was a comment about the Parks Maintenance Department having money. I believe it was discussed before about starting a fund at my request, and now you're telling me there is money somewhere for the parks? That's very confusing to me. Yeah, I'm just a little confused about the park in general, because when I approached you a few months ago about a pretty elaborate plan of doing a full fundraising and following through with everything to make a nice park there, I was told, we can't even look at the park or deal with anything to do with the park until the dam is repaired. Is the park closed? Is it opened?
It's open.
Are we gonna remove all those stakes that our kids are running into? Is the DPW gonna remove all them sticks on the top of the hill? And then my last question is our administrator working from home or is she not? 'Cause-
I'm working from home for calls from the council, not from the citizens.
So are you getting paid your full salary? Is she getting paid her full salary?
No, I'm not.
Because all I'm hearing is, I'll take care of that when I get back, I'll take care of that when I get back. And then the next breath, I'm working from home. I'm a little confused.
No, I'm working at home for contact from village council people. I'm out on disability, I shouldn't even be here.
Okay. Thanks.
Rich, you got something?
Yeah, I just have two quick issues.
Excuse me, Mr. Horton.
Oh, got another one, okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right, no problem.
Jacob Beck on Green Road. How wide is Erie Street getting paved? What's dimensions on the road for the width that's coming down? I'm seeing the curbs down there with the buses, and it looks like it's pretty narrow.
I'm 24 back, a curb to back, 27 back, a curb to back, a curb, but I'm not sure.
Because if I'm not mistaken, under our charter for residential roads, it's supposed to be 30 feet wide. And I'm assuming that's probably commercial, going down there with the school or whatnot, but even if it is residential, looks like we're still probably gonna be a few feet short from our charter stating that we're supposed to have it at. And the buses, so like they're gonna have a hard time turning in and out the parking garage there.
Wider than it was.
Redevelopment, is that what it's referring to?
I have no idea what you're referring to.
There's not a charter provision, I think there's a code provision
Right.
for roads to be accepted. This is already in the village, yeah.
And then the last thing for the mill pond, if it were to be drained for fire safety purposes, I don't know if it's factual or not that the insurance would go down if we didn't have a mill pond there. I know when I just tried to lower my rate, the only thing they asked me how close I was to a fire hydrant or the fire hall, not if there's any lakes or ponds. And there was a pumping truck that was pumping water out of the creek when they're working on the road over there, so there would still be access to water even if the dam did kind of get taken away and we just put it back to its natural state. So I don't think that should be a decision or whether or not if we're gonna remove the dam for whatever reason.
Okay. First of all, I agree that there should be some emergency numbers available, obviously. Early last week, I was, noticed that the equipment was, one of the pieces of our equipment was over there by the dam. And I drove over there and Miss Allen was over there taking pictures of the gates and so forth, right? She walked by, I walked by, I said, good morning, she said, good morning. If she would have just asked, if the emergency number, what's yours, which I think she has already, because we've talked previously. I think she probably has Mr. Baldwin's number also, phone number, you've talked before, I think, right? So there was interest if someone would just ask if that was the case. So it didn't happen that way, it just was good morning, good morning. As to the, two very quick things. First of all, the public safety issue about taking the water out of the dam. Of course, there's gonna be some discussion whether you have to, is it still gonna be public safety, is there other means, whatever. All I know is that the Annapolis Fire Chief stated the pond is very important for safety of the community. That's what he stated. Beyond that important factor is the financial impact to the village residents. Might differ from insurance company to insurance company, but the Insurance Service Office, the ISO, releases ratings that reflect, among other factors, the ability of a community at large to combat fires. This information is used by insurance companies to determine premiums for homeowners' policies in that area. Recent ISO ratings for the township reflected a rating of 5 to 8B, like in Boyd. This was down from a rating of 9 or 10. The lower the rating, the better. By draining the pond and the current water supply for firefighting, the rating would return to the higher level, resulting in an average increase of $300, average now, for a home valued at $100,000. The total effect would be an annual increase of $210,000 for the approximately 700 residents in the village. This is from the National Association of Insurance Providers. So that's what I was told, all right? And lastly, if you drain the pond with all the documentation we have, and I don't know how many people picked up the contract that was in the village office, it says it will revert back to Flint if you drain it, because the agreement is that you must, the foregoing grant is conditioned upon grantee maintaining a dam and impounding water over the lands conveyed herein. In the event the grantee breach such conditions, it shall forfeit its estate and the premises shall revert back to the grantor, which is Flint. Flint doesn't have any money, all right? They don't want it, but if you drain it, then we have to go with the sediment and whatever in there as far as anything in the bed of the pond that's drained. Flint is not going to pay to have that done. To drain, to dredge it would be millions of dollars. So what they're going to do is basically, if they were smart, which I think they were, as they were planning to do prior to 1970, was make it a landfill. So if they could sell it to a third party, and the third party doesn't have money to dredge it or test it, the solution would be very simple, make it a landfill. That's what they wanted to do back in 1970. We put a provision in that basically said, we changed it to recreational area. We zoned it recreational. That doesn't hold up if we lose title to it. We lose title to it. Our attorney's here, he can speak to it. Once you lose title, all those provisions no longer exist. Now, I'm sorry, this is just the comments here. You had your turn.
I have
No.
point of information, please.
Point of
You
information.
just asked the attorneys there, I'm asking for point of information.
Write it down and bring it in.
Hey, you're out of order, the gentleman speaking.
Not for point of information, that is a law.
We don't,
It's a law.
They don't follow the
So
law.
anyway, that's what I'm saying. Those are, between the fire, between the insurance increase, between the landfill, all these unintended consequences come because there's an agenda that people want to pursue. And it's all it does is amount to a certain situation. So I'm done, so that's fine.
Good.
Go ahead. Good.
About four real quick, I hope. Why is the pond as high now? This is as high as I've ever seen it.
I think there's a mark that is required by the DNR.
Well, this is higher than any past year. It's lapping at the leaves and the trees hanging over Mrs. Hill's land. It's, the boat, my next door neighbor got that pontoon. It used to be like this, now it's like this. Why is it high, is the question. It serves no purpose being that high, other than if we have a rain, we're in trouble. But we've heard a couple of comments about roads and road paving. Yeah, we need a program to take care of all these issues because they just get worse. We need some kind of a plan. Contact numbers, that's a no-brainer. You know, as many places as possible. I think a lot of the problems that I see here is communications problems with between us as a council and DPW or whoever. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why isn't the park being taken care of? Why are the signs, is it open, is it closed? There is still a sign up there. I checked Saturday, there was a sign saying closed up on the high end. Is it open, is it closed? And I think we're still in information gathering stage as far as what to do with the dam and with even the drainage situation. And, you know, I don't like to sit here and have, you know, we've got 13 different sides and 13 different opinions, and I attribute all this to scare tactics, and I think it's too early. I want to know how we're going to pay for it. That's my concern. No matter what we do, how we're going to pay for it.
Well, that have to be part of the comments on the board is, here's a lot of great ideas, this is how it can be done, but cost, at the very end, is what's going to decide how we're going to do it all.
Yeah, and I think Mark's been on the phone and to help Richard, and they're to be committed for that. I don't want to sell that short, but it is too early to argue, I think.
Just briefly,
Fine.
what you have now is that we owe a response to Mr. Wright on the drain, all right? The DEQ is waiting for us to give them a long-term solution. So it would be nice to be able to get some of this and give them what they've been asking for over a period of months now. And as far, Mark and I have been down to the dam, watched them operate the gates. We were told that from Genesee, the ones that did the repair, that yes, you're getting a different flow right now because all the cracks and all the problems now have been fixed. So what they're trying to do is tweak the dam to control the water. We have people here that have the issue, not enough water at their end, all right? So we're just trying to get that balance, and that's what the DPW is trying to do, to find out. When they see it's gonna rain, they come and they say, okay, we have to open it. So it's like, be there the next day, take it down. So, but again, it's a different flow right now since it's been repaired.
Well, that takes time to judge that flow, and especially if you get a lot of rain south of this. I mean, if they get it, we're gonna get it. But people say 2-3 days later, and it's really difficult to maintain it, and they bring it at the same level all the time. It never has been like that.
But the dam is much better shape than
Oh,
it
it
was
is.
before.
Yeah, the new gates on the extreme west end really held more water than it's probably held in the longest time. I had a lot of rain, and I would just like to say that if nothing else, with Tammy and her team, I keep using that because that's what she calls them, all the times that they have walked the golf course and talked to the superintendent over there, I'm gonna assume that people have noticed a difference this year, even though the pond is high. We've had a lot of rain, and the flooding seems to be at bay.
You got the
And
cap
that's,
on the culvert.
well, wait a minute now. I wouldn't rule that out from the equation, but there are things that they are doing on the golf course that were suggestions from that hydrologist. All of the things together, however we're gonna look at it, but it looks like to me it's made a difference. We still need to do something to drain, can't argue that, but just some things that they have helped with the golf course and guidance, I think has made a difference.
If nothing else, I'll take the motion that we adjourn.
Well,